in this video, we are going to learn how to work with the barcode scanner, which is an official plugin now of Capacitor. But we are not going to implement only the barcode scanner. We are going to design it up in such a way that you are going to like that, which you have already seen in the promo part. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So at first you need to create a project, and this is a command which I have used for creating a project: Ionic start, then barcode scanner. Then type of template is blank, and the type of framework that I'm going to use is Angular. After that, you can use standalone project or an ng modules project if you want to. I'm going to go for the standalone one. That is why I've given -- standalone. After you create the project, you will get something of this kind, and which is up and running here by using the command Ionic serve. Now we are ready for designing it up. First of all, I'm going to clean up everything that we have here in our home page. That's where we are going to work with initially. And let's clear everything up from our iron content also. I'll just remove everything because I don't need anything. I'm going to create everything on my own now. Alright, even remove the title also. Now what am I going to do? I don't need any border here, so iron class, iron no border. Okay, and for the toolbar I need to change the color to white color, but we don't have anything in our theme as of now of white color by default. So what I can do is I'll go to iron header in my SCSS one and work with the toolbar here, in which I can give -- background, which is the predefined CSS property for our iron toolbar, which will not transparent. Actually I need it to be white color. Please show me that. Yes, now it is a white color here. So this is done. What next we need to do here is, in the toolbar I'm going to work with something. So I'm going to work with the iron buttons here. The slot will be end, within which I will use the concept of a button here whose color will be dark. Along with that, fill will be clear so that we don't need any background color or border anything. And this is it for the button. Within the button I'm going to have an iron icon here whose name is going to be cart outline, and slot will be icon only, which will make this icon a little bit bigger within the button, because we are defining here slot equals to icon only. That means only the icon will be used, no text will be there. Now this icon will not show up here directly because we need to go to our app.component.ts file in order to import that. Now how we are going to do it? I'm going to create a function called add all icons, any name you can give here, within which I'm going to use add icons function, which is from iron icons. Once we import that up, we get to pass the icons that we are using, and this is in the standalone one only, not in the ng modules one. This is introduced because whichever icons you need, you will be only using those icons, which will help us to reduce the bundle size of the application. Now I just want to use cart outline. Okay, and for the first time the import might not come, maybe, so we need to import it on our own cart outline. Hopefully this will get resolved later on. Iron icons / icons. Now you see this is imported, and we are going to see an icon here as soon as possible, hopefully. But we still don't see that because we need to pass this function within our constructor here. Since we didn't call it, this functionality is not being in use. Now once we do that up, we can see that the icon is showing up. So with the help of this button, we can directly go to the cart one. Now how we are going to add the data into the cart with the help of barcode scanner, we are going to see that, but let's finish up the design at first. This is just the beginning. Now let's get back to our HTML part and work with the iron content here. Now here let me pass an iron item. Lines will be none here. Along with that, I'll pass a class of iron margin vertical too, because I will be needing some margin at the top and bottom. That is why within the iron item, why I'm using that, because I need to pass something on the left side and on the right side, extreme right. So iron item is the best candidate for, means the best component that we can use in this particular case. Otherwise you can use a column also, but I don't want to use that for the time being. as we can align pretty easily the stuffs on the left and right side. First of all, it will show up hello, and in a p tag, let me pass an ion text here, in which I'll pass the color to be the dark one, and text will be, let's say, coding techniques. Any name, whichever is a user, whose that name will be passed here. But for the timing, I have just passed coding techniques. Then I will have the image also of that particular person here, which I will get it with the help of ion thumbnail. Slot will be end because I want to align it on the right, extreme right side, within which I'll have an image tag in which I'll pass the source. Okay, this is how it's going to be done. Now for the ion thumbnail, we are not getting any suggestions, so we need to go to our home page TypeScript file manually to import it. Let's do that then. Now I have just formatted a document and will pass this time ion thumbnail. Spelling is little wrong. Now it is corrected. Copy it up till here, and you can paste it here. In that way, this problem will be resolved. Now we will be having the ion thumbnail within that an image tag. So we need to call an image, which can be an avatar or actual image also, but I am going to go for the avatar one. Now for this avatar, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the assets folder where I have two folders actually, imgs and products one. Products one we are going to check it later on, but for the imgs we have the avatar.jpg file, which I am going to use it in my HTML1. So let's get it done. I will be calling, let me convert it into a string, or in fact you can pass it directly also, but I'm keeping it as a dynamic value. That is why these brackets are being used. You can pass a variable also now. .jpg file is there. Okay, now we can see the image. Great. It's time to design this up. Now for this designing, let me just show you quickly what exactly I'm going to do. I'm going to call the ion item. Within that, the ion label font size, I'm going to change it to, let's say, 1.3 rem, make it bold. And for the p tag, I'll have some margin top so that we can have some spacing between the two, and a font size of 0.9 rem because I want this text to be a little smaller than this one. And font weight finally of normal, which I have given here. For the thumbnail, img, I have just passed border radius because by default the thumbnail within the ion item will take a proper size. So I'm happy with the sizing part. Even you can increase the font size also if you want to. Now after this ion item, I'm going to show up an ion list header because I'm going to show you some options actually, within which I'll pass a header title. So let me call it your insights. Fine. Now for this one also you can go for the designing part here. Let me just do it quickly. I'm just passing font size and font weight. That's it. And once this is done, we are good to go ahead and work with the items or options part. Now for doing that, what am I going to do? I'm going to use an ion row here. So for the ion row, I'll have the ending tag, and finally we are going to work with a column here of size. Let me pass a size of 6 will be fine. So we'll have two items in a mobile view, and also I'm going to pass a class to it, ion text center, so that all the text within this ion column will be centered up. So at the center position it's going to come. Let me call an ion card within the ion column, whose color I'm going to pass it as the light color one. Now within this ion card, at first I'm going to work again with the ion thumbnail here, but this time not a slot end or anything. In fact, I'm going to give some background color to it, which we can pass it in this particular way also by using style dot background will be equals to an RGBA color. So RGBA, I'm going to use it here, where I'm going to pass a value for RGB and an opacity of 0.2. Okay, and that's how it's going to look like. Now within this ion thumbnail, what am I going to have? I'm going to pass an ion icon here, whose name will be scan outline. Now this will not come up because we need to pass it in the app.component.ts file. So here I need to add one more called scan outline. Now you see the icon is showing up, correct? But it is not at the center. So after this iron thumbnail, I will have an iron label here which reads scan product barcode. Okay, it is coming up. Now the only thing that is left is the designing part of it because it's not looking great, right? And in order to do that, I'll work with the iron card directly, where at first I'm going to remove the box shadow. I don't want any box shadow here. So I'll set it to none. Then now it is fine. We'll have some margin. Let's say 10 pixel on top and bottom and 5 pixel on left and right will be fine for me. Also, I'll pass a height for this particular card. I'll fix it to 15 VH because I don't want the card to be that big, which cannot be handled easily. Now I think this is fine. It's a standard size for each and every product that we are going to have, or each and every option. It's not a product actually. Once I do that up, I'll work with the iron thumbnail here, where I'm going to pass at first the border radius of 10 pixels will be fine, and a width and a height of like 3 rem would be better. So 3 rem, width, height also of 3 rem, and some margin bottom. Let's say 1.3 VH will be fine. You can just test it if you want to, but some margin bottom is needed here so that we can have some space between the two. Now finally, within the iron thumbnail, we also have the iron icon here, for which I will increase the font size, right? It should be around 2 rem or bigger than that, not smaller. Now I think it's fine. Looks good. After working with the iron thumbnail here, we need to work with the iron label also within the card, to which I'm going to pass the font size and font weight. Now you can see this alignment is not good. It is not centered up. So for centering it up, what am I going to do is I'm going to work with the iron card. Okay. So this whole card should be having all the items at the center first of all. That is why display to be flex, align items to be centered up, and also justify content will also be center. Now if I do that up, it's fine, but the flex direction is not good. So for having a proper flex direction, what am I going to do here in the iron card especially? I'm going to pass flex direction to be column. Okay. Now it will be aligned in this particular way. Just check this out. Okay. Which is great. Now I need to do the same for iron thumbnail also, because this is not centered up within the iron thumbnail. That is why comma iron thumbnail also I'm going to center in this particular way. Just give a hyphen here and I think it's gonna be fine. Yes, there we go. It is properly working. Now why did I pass this color? You must be having a question about it, because I'm going to apply some theming here. Now in the default one, as of now, we don't have any theming here. And for the dark mode, let me just remove it. I don't want any dark mode to be present in this particular application. So let me just comment it up. No dark mode will be available. If you do that, then I'm going to go to variable.scss and apply some theming here. You can test the colors if you want to. Now the one that I like for this particular application is this particular color, where this is the primary color, the secondary color is little bluish. Then we have the tertiary color, which is actually nice to work with. Success, warning, and all of the colors are available. So this is actually the primary color which I have here, or primary or secondary, tertiary, I don't remember, but maybe it's primary. Alright, I think it's fine, and I have changed the primary contrast to, it was dark earlier, 000, but I changed it to FFF, okay, because I need the light color, right? That's why. Anyways, this is done, so we can move ahead and go to our home page once again. What we need to do here is, well, one more thing I can do, actually I can pass a font family also, and for the font family, just to have a proper design work, we can go to global.scss1 and we'll pass here asterisk. Within the brackets, I'm going to pass hyphen iron font family, because it will be applied throughout the application with the help of this predefined CSS property. Now here, which value am I going to give? I'm going to give this particular value here. Now you can see the design, it's looking nice, right? Now once this is done, we need to replicate this column for the other options that we need, for which let me just copy and paste here. So this particular column, let's have some spacing. Then I'm going to copy it up, copy, and finally paste it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, total 5 times. Now what I need to do, I need to change the data here. For the second one, let me change the background color at first. So the background color of the thumbnail will be changed. So that's how it's going to look a little different. And for the icon also, you can change the color actually. For the first one, even I didn't change the icon color. Let me pass color to be primary, or actually this is the tertiary color, not primary, so tertiary. Then I'm going to have the second one, which is for the products. So I'm going to pass here products, and we'll have here list outline for that. The color is fine. This is actually the warning color that I'm going to have here, and that is why the color for the icon also I'm going to give it as the warning one. Then this is done, but we won't be able to see that. In order to check that out or watch it, I need to go to the app component.ts file and pass here list outline. Once I do that up, we will be able to see that. Let's move ahead and go to the other one, the other option. Which one it is this time? Well, we will have something called transactions. Let me call it transactions. We are not going to use it. We are just going to use some of the options, but others are basically for the designing perspective. And the icon for that will be check mark, circle. The color for it will be the greenish color. So this is the greenish color. If you want to check that out, you can go to variable.scss and get this particular value. Like for the greenish one, this is the value. That is what I am passing it here in the HTML. You can just match that out. Okay, it's the same. Once you do that up, opacity is already applied. I just need to pass here the same color. So color is success. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to get all the icons one by one. Let's finish it off. It's not too much left. The next one will be the orders one. Again, not going to use it, just for the design perspective. The icon will be bag handle outline. That's what I like about it. And the color will be secondary, so I can like opt for this particular color here. Let me copy this, and in the HTML part, I'm just going to paste it here in this particular way. Also change the icon color too for the secondary one. Okay, this is done. There you go. You can see this is showing up. Now finally, the last one will be, it's going to be scan QR code and pay. Now why this is being used, you will get to know little later. For the time being, you just have to use it up. So the color here this time will be the primary color, and this value will be 240, 143, 194, or actually it's going to be only 94. You can just check this out here. This is the value that I'm passing. All right, I think everything is done here. The design is done, just the icons are left. So for the transition, check mark circle. Let me go to app.component.ts file, and here check mark circle. I need, along with that, bag handle outline is also required. Once I do that up, we will see all the icons here. So we have designed the home page. Now let me give you a brief idea what exactly we have done here. So the first option that we have here is for scanning the product barcode. Now for every product that we are going to have within this, we'll have a barcode. That's how we are going to design it. Now that barcode, you are going to simply scan it. Now let me give you a scenario. You are into a shopping mart and you have purchased some items. Now those items are actually the products that you have already like gone for purchasing. Okay, and you are coming for billing part. Now at the point of billing, what you're going to do, you're going to show the items to the shopkeeper, and he's going to scan each and every item one by one. That's what we are going to do here. Just imagining that will be done. That is why I have designed it in such a way. So these products, what I'll do is I will just design it so that we can scan the products thinking that okay, these are those products that the person is willing to buy. And once everything is filled up within our cart, then what we will do, we will get our QR code to be scanned, because we want to check that QR code also works properly. We are going to check that out, and we are going to show the QR code to the customer. That's how you are going to imagine. So once that is shown to the customer will make the payment and we are good to go. That's how the things will be done. These two are just dummy. For the design perspective, we have done that up. And also, if the, let's assuming that this is something which a customer can use to scan and pay the QR code, okay, because we need an option into our application to scan it, right? We cannot use any other application, third-party application for the time being, but definitely you can do that also. You can use third-party application also for scanning it up. Now, a lot of briefing has been given. It's time to apply. First of all, we are going to work with the products one. Let's go to the products one and get it ready, for which I'm going to do what? I'm going to apply the router link, and also I need to create the pages too. Let's do that. First create the pages. Now Ionic G page. Within the home page, I'm going to have a products page, and not only that, I'm also going to have a cart page also. With the help of this button, if we click on it, we can get entered into the cart page, and from there on also we can scan it up. Let's create a cart page also. Later on we are going to work with that. Okay, so these two pages will be created. Rest of the things we don't need pages. These are just functionalities. We will work with it directly with the help of a function. So now what I'll do is, let me first align the routing properly. So I'll go to approute.ts file, and here in the home one, we need what? We need the children of it to have the sub pages. So let me create the children here in this particular way, where I will have an empty path object at first, so that we can redirect to the home page from there also in this particular way. Now this is an hierarchy, because when you create a different file, different routing file, again you have to do this part only for the children one. Okay, now I don't have to write here /home/products directly. I can just cut this to and pass it here. In that way, there is no component within this particular path, but in fact we have within the children one. That is how it's being done. Now once that is done, I think we are good to go. If I click on it, okay, I need the router link for that in my home page to redirect to that particular products page. And what am I going to do for that is, I'll pass here for the iron column or for the iron card, I think it should be done, router link equals to, if I type directly products, we can still navigate from the home page to the products page, because it's going to be appending this particular link with the URL. Okay, so we are already into the /home here. If you just check it out, then /products will be added directly. If you are not sure about it, you can simply pass an array also and pass /home, products. Let me go to the TS file, and here for using the router link, we need to first of all import it from the common Angular router. If once that is done, we are good to go. If I click on it now, just check it out, we are into the products page. Now in the products page, let's design it quickly. What exactly we need to do? Also, we need some service also. So which services I need, because I need to keep the data there. That's how I'm going to circulate everywhere the same data. I need the services here. So service, within the services folder, I'm going to have a cart folder, and within that the cart service will be created. So we need a cart service. And second thing what we need is, we need a storage one also. So storage, because we are going to keep the data in the cart in a storage format. Okay, local storage that we are going to use here. Alright, so services are created. We are not going to use it for the time being, but yes, I'm going to show you how to get the products here. Now let me get the products here by making some changes into the design at first, removing all the unnecessary things that we have here. And we need what here? We need a back button, of course. So for the back button within the toolbar, I'm going to have iron buttons. Slot will be start and one iron back button. Default href will be /home because we need to redirect back to the home one. Toolbar color, I can change it to the primary one. Okay. Now what else we can do? We can jump now to the iron content part, but we need the data here to show anything. So how will I get the data? Let me create a folder here called data, okay, within which I will have an array. So how will I keep the data? Array data. I'll create a file called, let's say, data, not products.ts. Spelling is wrong. Let me correct it. Okay, now it's fine. Export constant. This is how I'm going to keep it. Export constant products, and then the array where we have the ID, name, price, status, rating if you want to, then the cover image, and this image one, whatever we have here, we already have in our assets one. You can just check this out. This is the products one that we have, and this is how it's been kept. So we can have the image directly from our assets one. Then we have a small description, and finally the barcode string that we need. Okay, so this is what we have here. Once you get this array ready, you can go to the products one. Currently we don't have to do anything with the services, but yes, we will be needing that up, so I have just created it. Okay, now what I need to do here is, in the products page we need certain properties, like one is the item one. You can name it as products also if you want to. Second one will be item model. Where it's going to be used, I'll tell you later on. Then show barcode. So we are going to create a model for showing the barcode. That is where this particular flag will come into play. And then the currency, whichever currency you want to use, you can just pass it here. Okay, for me, I'm just passing rupee symbol for Indian rupee. Now I'll initialize this dot items to be equals to array of copy of products, which will be imported from data/products, which is actually this particular file that we have here. Okay, the data that is available here, I'm directly calling that up. Just check this out in the imports one, right? So this is the benefit of using it up. I don't need to write here all the data. Now, once that is done, we have the data. Now I'll simply design it up. I'll have an iron list where I've given some margin top, and then I'm simply going to loop this particular array items. Within that we are going to have the iron item here, and then we will have the iron thumbnail image within that, first of all on the slot to be start. So for the thumbnail, I'm just going to pass iron thumbnail here, slot will be start, and for the image I'm going to use iron img because we have lots of products. If we have, so we can use iron img tag, and I'll call the cover image directly here. For the iron thumbnail, we need to go to the TS file, and at first I need to remove these two which are not in use and pass iron thumbnail here. Okay, so copy it and pass it at the top also in this particular way. Also remove these two from here also in the imports one, because we don't need that. Whatever we need, then only we are going to use it. Now in the HTML one, anything else we need to do? Definitely yes, because we need to work with the iron label to show the item name, description along with the price one. So let me just do it quickly so that you can understand very easily and quickly too. So I have simply done what? I have given an iron label tag where I am passing the item name, then a p tag within which we have the description one, and again a p tag where we have the iron text where I can pass the color to be primary. That is why I'm using iron text here, so that I can change the color directly, and then passing the currency along with the item price. That's how we get this data. Not looking that nice? Don't need to worry. We are going to design that up. Let's go to our SCSS one and design it up. For designing this part, let me just show you directly the source code of this. So this is the CSS that we are going to apply in the iron item. I'll at first pass some margin bottom here for each item, right? 3 VH is fine. Then for the iron thumbnail, I want to make it bigger so that you can see the image properly, and that is why I given width and height of 8 rem, and for the iron image some border radius, that is why it is looking so nice. After that, the iron label and iron text, which we have here, iron label and this iron text, I have given a font size of 1 rem and font weight of 600. That is why this looks good. Finally, we have the p tag, which is for a description one, in which I have given a font weight of normal. Then now this font size is little smaller here according to the other two, and we have a font weight of normal and margin top of 10 pixels, so that we have some space here. If in fact you can give some margin bottom also, we can try that out, margin bottom. But if we do some margin bottom, there will be an issue, because we are passing this on the p tag, right? On the p tag we already have margin top applied here too. If you want to check it out, I'll show you here. Okay, if I just hover on this, just check this out. There is a margin top and here too. All right, now what is the size of it? If you want to check, it is 1 rem. So this is working fine. Now anything else we need to do here? Well, not yet. We just need a button here for the barcode to show up, for which I will create a button after the iron list, or not after the iron list, because we are looping the iron item here. So we need that after the iron label. I need a button here, iron button. Slot will be end. All right. Along with that, fill will be clear and color will also be dark. Now within this, I'm going to have an iron icon. Which iron icon I'm going to pass? Barcode outline 1. And slot will be icon only, so that the barcode outline, the icon looks bigger. For applying this particular icon, means to see that, I need to do something here. Barcode outline, import it. Once we do that up, we will be able to see that. Now slight designing is required for this button to look a bit bigger, for which I'll just go to the SCSS of the products one and work with the icon here, make it a little bigger. I've given a font size of 2 rem for the icon. Now it looks bigger and better. So these things are good to work with, but we need a click event for this particular button. Why? To get the barcode data, to get barcode data, I would say, for this particular item. That's what we will be doing. All right. Now let me create this function here. I'll just go to the bottom. After ng on init, get barcode data function, where we will have item of type any, and within this function I will make use of the item model that we created here, right? I'll just get the data within this particular item model, and then I will use this dot show barcode equals to true. Okay, I'm setting it to true because I want to open up the model. We have not created the model yet. I'll just create it, but this is the function that I need to work with. And not only this, when we do this much, we need to show the barcode also, for which I'm going to use a functionality within a set timeout, because it takes a little bit of time to show the design in a model. That is why I've given a set timeout of 500 milliseconds, which will be good. Otherwise this will not work. I'll show you why this will not work and everything. But for the time being, let's first create a model. Then I'll work with the functionality of showing the barcode, which will be done after the iron list. So I'm going to create an iron model tag here in this particular way. I'll have certain options. So let me just show you the options quickly. We will have an identifier called barcode model. You can give any name you want here. Just the hashtag is required. Then is open, when it's going to open, when show barcode value is true. And when this is dismissed, I'll set the barcode value to be false here. Now I want a model which will not take the full size. That is why I've given some breakpoints so that it can open up to a certain extent. So 0.3, 0.5 and 0.9 I have given, and by default it will start up till 0.5. That means 50% it will open up. So from here till here it's going to open it up. That's what it's being done. Now within the iron model we will have ng template Now within this template, we are going to have our design. You can create another component for that, but if you're using component, then you need to take care of certain things. I'm going to do directly the designing here itself. I'll have an iron header where iron, no border. I don't want any border. That is why I've given this class. When within the toolbar, we are going to have the item model data. That is why this item model is created. So I'll get the name of the particular product. Then I'll have a button on the right side for cross symbol to close it. Let me just show you. If I click on it, you will see the name is coming up, but not the icon, because this close outline, we need to pass it into our app.component.ts file. Let's go there, app.component.ts file, and pass close outline. Okay, imported. Now let's get back to our HTML1 of the product, and let me just show you. So here I have given iron button slot and within that we have a button, click of which I will dismiss this particular model, because I can directly use this identifier here. Okay, and where I get the option of all the functionality. You can create a function also and pass it up, but I want to do it directly. You can just check. I'm getting the option to dismiss it directly because it is of the iron model. That is why. And we have this functionality within the iron model itself directly. I've given the color also. Let me align it properly at first. Okay, it's clear to you. Let me just show you once again. Check this out. This is working. Okay. Now after this iron header, I need to work with the iron content here. So we can break it down a bit. Now in the iron content, what I'll do is, let me create a div here. We'll give a class of iron margin to it. And then I'm going to pass a label called scan barcode. So how it looks like in this particular way. After that, we need the barcode now. So how to generate the barcode? So to generate the barcode, what am I going to use is JS barcode plugin. So this is one way to generate a barcode, and it's a JavaScript one. So definitely you can directly install it. I've just copied it up and let me install it here in this particular way. Once that will be installed, how will we use it? Okay, canvas is being given. No, I don't want to show it in the canvas actually. I will directly show it in an image format, and this is how we are going to use our JS barcode. So it is installed. Let me go to the functionality first. So this particular function, I'm going to create get barcode, where I'll get the code, or actually the barcode, which will be of type string here. All right. And now here I'm going to use JS. This is the one, JS barcode. It is imported. Let's check it out. So import star as JS barcode from JS barcode. So it is automatically showing the import to us. Now within this function, at first I'm going to pass the ID for that particular one that we want to create. So I need an img tag here because I'm going to show the image one only, where I'll give an ID of, let's say, barcode. If you want to change, you can change it also. Okay. And in fact, let me give a class also here of iron margin top, so that we can have some spacing at the top from this particular label one. Once that is done, I'll go to the TS file and work with it. So hashtag barcode, comma, we need to pass the string here, which is going to be this particular barcode that we have here. Now there are certain more things which you can pass, like this particular one. You can have some options also. So let me just copy these options here, and I'm going to pass it after this particular one, barcode one, in this way. Okay, so if you need some format, I don't want to specify any format here, so I'll just comment it up. And you can just pass the color also if you want to, line color. This is the default color that is coming up from this particular color one. You can change the hex code if you want to. Then width of 4 is being given, and a height, well, I can change the height. I want to increase it, so I'll increase it to, let's say, 200. And display value, I've just kept it as false. If you want to display, definitely you can. So I think this is ready now. We can simply check it here. Let me click on it and nothing is showing up. Why? Because this particular one is commented. If I just uncomment it and move it outside of it, let's see what happens. So I'll just click on it and we still don't see it here. Do we get any error? Yes, we do get an error that the DOM is not ready yet. Means the DOM, there is nothing as such available. That is why I just kept it within the set timeout so that it takes some time to load all this data or the HTML one. Then we will be able to show it. Now just check it out. It is coming up and the height is quite big, which is great. Even if you turn it to true, what happens? Let's check it out. I'll just click here and you see the value also. If you want to show the value, definitely you can show it here, but I want to keep it as false only. Alright, so this design is done. You can simply scan it directly with the help of the function that we are going to have within our home one, and in fact in the cart one too. So this is ready now. We need to do nothing else. I think the product one is ready. Let's move on the home page once again and work with the functionality here. So what am I going to do is I'm going to work with the functionality of the scanning one. So for scanning it, where it is, this is the one. Now for this ion card, I'll pass a functionality called start scan and we'll pass it. In fact, I can change it to barcode scan also. Scan barcode, but it can scan anything. So you can just change it as per your requirement. Let me just go here and create a function called scan barcode. Okay. Now what we are going to do here? Well, there will be a function here, but I'm not going to create it here. In fact, I'm going to create it in the service, card service, I would say, because if we create that there, we can call it in the home page also, and in the card page, we will be needing the same functionality. We can directly call that up. That is why I'm going to create here. Let me call it start scan function. Okay. And within this function, I'm going to have the functionality for scanning. Now, which plugin I need to use here? Let me just show you. Capacitorjs.com. You need to go there, and in the official plugins one, you will be able to see that. So where it is, this is the one, barcode scanner. I have already shown you the capacitor community plugin for barcode scanner. We have made a video on that. This is actually easier than that to install and in fact work with it. So I'll just copy this one and pass it here for installation purpose. Then what we need to do, we need to do certain things for Android and iOS to set it up. We will do it, but just this functionality is required to work with this particular plugin. Nothing else is needed. We have certain options here within it, and for QR code scanning, you just need to pass a value of 0, where you need to pass the value of 0 in the hint one. Okay, and for the others, well, you can just take the value, but what I'll do is for the QR code, I'm just going to pass 0, and for the barcode one, I'm just going to pass 17 here so that it can scan anything, whatever comes in its way. And you can just select your front camera, back camera also if you want to. Just change it as per your requirement. Landscape, portrait, adaptive, you get all these options here. Okay, and these are for the Android scanning library. So these options are coming for this particular things: scan instructions, scan button, scan text, camera direction, front and back. Okay, camera orientation, scan orientation is there. Then we have scanning library. So all those options are for this particular features. Now I have installed it, I think, right? So let's work with it now. It's pretty easy to work with it. Now I'm going to do everything within try catch async await. So in this particular way, I'm going to create it, try catch. If there is any error, I'm going to throw it. Okay, and here I'm going to use constant result equals to, it's going to be result. Okay, now capacitor barcode scanner, which we need to use, dot scan barcode function, where we will have certain options. Now what are these options? First of all, we will have the hint, in which we will have the value 17 by default, but if you want to pass some other value like the QR code one, Definitely you can pass a value here in argument which is optional of type number. If you have any value being passed, it will be taken, otherwise 17 will be passed by default. Then we have camera direction. We can pass as 1 will be the rear one. Let's check it out. 1 is the back camera that we need to work with. If you don't pass, I think by default it will take back one only, but just pass it as per your requirement. Once that will be done, we will get the result. We will just log the value and we will get the result in this particular way. Now here this will return actually a promise. That is why await is being used. Alright, we already have async here. And finally we will get the result in scan. S is capital initially, scan result, because I have already logged it and seen that. That is why I'm just returning the value whichever we get here. Fine. This is how we are going to create our function. Alright, so this is ready. Let me just pass it in our home page, the functionality in the home page TS file. So let me use here async await try catch 2. Try catch. In the catch, I'm simply going to log the value, not going to pass any toast or something. If you want, you can pass an iron toast message here. And what am I going to do here is constant code or barcode equals to await this dot. I need to call the service here, for which I need to inject it using private card service, directly injecting it up without passing it in the constructor. That's how the new way can be done. You can pass it in constructor also if you want to, but I've explained many times without doing that also it will still work. So start scan, and I'm not going to pass any value here. Okay, how simple it is. You can just log the value of the code that you will be getting here. Fine. Similarly, I'm going to create another function, and this time what it's going to do, it's going to go for scan QR and pay. So scan and pay function name, I've just given it up, where I'm going to pass the value as 0, and rest of the things will be the same. Now if you want to work with the toast message here, definitely you can work with the iron toast. Let me just do it in the HTML, but before that, in the 5th option that we have here, I'm going to pass the same functionality that we have just created. So click equals to scan and pay function will be passed, but actually this function should be passed to the iron card, not to the iron column. Now after this iron row, I'm going to pass an iron toast here, where is open will be done whenever we have a property called is toast will be set to true. We can have a message for the message. We'll have toast message property that I'm just going to create, and position will be bottom. Color will be, so we'll have different color here. Color will be, let me just change it to toast dot message. So this toast, actually toast data, I would say this will be an object here that I'm going to just create here. Also toast data dot color. That's how we are going to create that. So too many errors you might be seeing here because we don't have these properties, but we are still passing it up. That's why the error is occurring, and I'm going to solve it by simply creating here is toast equals to initially set to false, and an object called toast data, which will be equals to an object of type any, let's say. Okay, now you will see no error here, and whenever we are going to call this functionality, for the time being you can see that the functionality is similar, but it's going to change a lot because the functionality after getting the code will be different. That is why I've created two different functions. Now if we don't have the code here, if not code, then we are going to do what? At first we are going to return, but before returning I'm going to call is toast to be set to true, and in the toast data I'm going to set it to a value where the color will be mostly danger, and we will have a message that, which message I want to give, that no such product found, or actually it's not searching for a product, it is searching for the barcode. So no such code available, barcode available. Okay, Let me change it to available. All right. Simply copy this once again and paste it here also for this particular code, in which I'm just going to pass the message as that there is an error here. Kindly try again. If you face that, danger color, of course. Now after passing a toast message here, we will also pass a toast message after scan and pay is done, because we are not actually paying it. It's just for trial purpose. That is why I'm just going to copy it and we'll pass it here. Also after this return, we'll set it to true, and it's going to be actually success one color along with a message of payment successful. Okay, so that's gonna be the message, and it's done. Great. Once this is done, anything else we need to do here? I don't think so. We can simply try, like if I click on this scan QR, just check this out. It's going to allow camera. I have allowed it. Let's see what happens. Okay, it took my photo and it disappeared. Now it is saying here no QR code parse error. Okay, so basically what happens in web, you are not getting an error for opening the this one, a scanner, but actually it doesn't work. I have tried it. It doesn't work at all. It doesn't scan the barcode or even the QR code also. So in browser, we are not going to use it up. Actually, we are just going to work with the products in the browser. Mostly we are going to work with the real device here. Available spelling is wrong. Okay, let's correct it now. Fine. So let's work with few other functionality, then we will be able to actually work with our real device, right? Now, final thing, I just need to show this cart one whenever we have some item in the cart. And for doing so, in the HTML, I need to make some changes here. What I'll do is, actually I need to track, keep a track of it, of the cart items. So in the home page, in the cart service, we will be keeping a track of the items or the cart items in everything, total price and everything. And for that, we will have a property here called total items, which will be initially 0. Whenever we have some items in the cart, we are going to update it every time. Okay, now how we can do that up? What am I going to do is I'm going to subscribe to it, and for subscription I'm going to use cart sub here as a property which will be of type subscription, and in our constructor or in ng on it we are going to subscribe to it. So let me do it in ng on it, that will be better. Ng on init. What am I going to do is this dot cart sub, we're going to use the subscription method here, cart sub dot. Now we don't have any functionality for subscribing to a particular observable or something. So what am I going to do in the cart service? I'm going to create that up. Now I will have a property here called cart dollar, which will be equals to a behavior subject. Why behavior subject? Because we can pass a value in the behavior subject. Okay, initial value, which is null here. And then I'm using a getter here, setter and getter, if you know about it. So this is a function, but actually it won't be a function. It will become a property when we will be using it in anywhere. I'm going to show that up. Now it's going to return this particular stuff, behavior subject, as an observable, so you can subscribe to it. That is what I'm going to call this particular cart. How? In the home page, this dot cart service dot cart. See, this cart is a property here. Okay, it's not a function, and this is the benefit of using a getter here. If I remove getter, it's gonna be a function now. Okay, so I don't want to do that. Subscribe. And within the subscription, what am I going to do? I'll go for next, where I'll get the cart data, where I'm going to have a callback and will pass. So here I'm going to log the value of the cart and in fact initialize my total items. If there is something in the cart, then I'll have something called total item also within the cart. That's what I'm assuming, because we are going to design it in such a way that we are going to have that particular one. If we don't have anything, it's going to be the 0 value. Fine. Once we do that up, I'll pass a condition in my home page where we are passing this particular button, that it will only show up at if total items greater than 0. Okay, and we'll pass this particular condition within that in this particular way. Now this is not it. in order to show this up, I also need actually a badge where we can show the number of items. Let's work on that also, then I'm going to hide it. Also one more thing, router link also I need to pass here. Router link, it will redirect to the cart one. Now after this iron icon, I'm going to use an iron badge here, to which I'll give the color to be light. So the background color of this iron badge will be light color. Now within this, if I pass 1, let's see how it looks like. Just check this out. This is how it is looking like, but I don't want the same design. I want to change it. For the time being, let me just pass this particular thing, an iron text whose color will be tertiary. So this is how it's going to look like, where I'm going to pass the total number of items. Now once that is done, we can simply work with the designing part here to actually fulfill the design that we actually saw in the promo. Okay, for doing that, we need to work with certain things in our iron header. So in the iron header within the toolbar, I'm going to work with the iron badge here, where at first position I'll give it to be absolute because I want to move it. For that, absolute position is must. Top will be 0 and towards the right side also it will be 0, so it will be aligned towards the right side. Then I'll give a border radius to it of 50%. By default it's having a border radius, but still I want to change it. If you don't pass it also, I think still we have some border radius here, so let me skip that for the time being. Then what's gonna be the height of it? Let me give it 1 rem and a width also of 1 rem. Now if I do that up, all right, still it's fine, but let's give the border radius. I don't want to play with anything currently. If we mess up with some design, definitely we'll be needing that up, a proper circle. Now comes the margin. That is the most important part, because margin top I'm going to give a 0. Then margin right side in -1 I'll give 0.3 rem. I think will be better. All right, looking good. Then rest, margin bottom and left, I don't want any margin there, so this is fine. Still it is not centered up, so display flex, then align items to be at the center. Focus on that. It's going to change justify content to be at the center. If I do that up, it is centered up now. Just look at it. Once that is done, I'm going to play around with the iron text within the iron badge. Okay, and like I said, if you don't pass it also, let's check it out what happens. So I don't see any change here. You can keep it, but still for to be on the safe side, again I'm going to pass it up. Now here simply let me just change the font size to be 0.6 rem of the text, means the number within that, and make it bold. So font weight to be bold, so that it is smaller and also bold, which will give a good combination. Nice. Now it's visible also and it's matching with our design. Okay, so this is done. Now I'll simply uncomment it. Okay, we have the condition properly working now. Great. So the homepage design is finally done. We have worked with the product one. We have almost worked with the scanning part also. Everywhere in our home page, just the functionality is required that we need to work with, like what we need to do after scanning it up. But only for the barcode one is needed, because for the next one we have done whatever was needed and we don't need to do anything else. In fact, this console log, I'll pass it at the top actually, not here. I'll pass it here so that we can see what was the result. And here let me call a function from our cart service, which is not yet created. Cart service, I'm going to create a function called add item by barcode, and we'll pass this particular barcode here. Now I need to create this function within our cart service. So cart service, I'll go there and I'm going to create a function called this particular one, where I'm going to accept the barcode of type string and we'll work on it. Okay, that's how we are going to work with the barcode one. Now let's work with Android and iOS device. Let's create the platforms. For that, at first I'm going to run Ionic build, and in fact you can do one more thing. You can play around with the capacitor config also. So I'm going to change the app ID and app name here to this particular ones. As per your requirement, you can change it to. I will again sync the project because I have made some changes in my capacitor.config.ts file. So sync the project after the build is done. We get the www folder also now. So once this is done, I'm going to create Ionic add, it's add not AD, add iOS, and then I'm going to add the Android platform also and get it ready. So for the barcode one, we need to do certain things for Android and iOS. We need to check those things too properly. Minimum SDK version 26 is required, so we need to change that in Android one. Along with that, we need to make certain changes into our build Gradle also. So we'll do it one by one. I think this is done. Great. Now I'm going to add the Android one also. All right. Once that will be done, we will be able to work with the other things. I've cleaned everything now. So both the platforms are added. Let's go to, first of all, variables.gradle file. This is the one. You just search it with the help of Command+P for Mac and Control+P for Windows. This will open up and you can simply go there by searching for it. Now minimum SDK version is 22. I'll make it 26 here. What else we need to do? Nothing else actually. And one more plugin I will be needing. Let me install it for the time being only. Right now, npm I add capacitor / preferences for storage one. Okay, we will be needing that up. That is why I'm just having everything ready. So Ionic cap sync once again. All right. So let me just enlarge it. Now this thing, I need to like copy it and pass it where? Within the Gradle, within the Android folder. So let's do that. Within the Android folder, we have a Gradle where we have what? This particular one. After this, I need to paste it. This is also done. Two things done. For the iOS one, we need to pass the camera uses description. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to search for info.plist one, and here I'm going to paste this particular thing. So this is how the permission will be given for the camera uses description in your info.plist. Make sure the spelling is not wrong, and in fact this particular message you can change as per your requirement. Once that is done, I don't think we need to do anything else here. We are good to go. We will also check the preferences one. Do we need to do anything for that also, because we have installed that up? If I just scroll down, all right, Apple privacy manifest requirement. This is something new. So you need to add this particular one in a file called privacyinfo.xcprivacy. All right, that should be present where? Within the iOS folder and within the app folder. Now this is required for allowing, to say that you're using this particular plugin. So you need a permission for that. Okay, what I'll do is within the iOS, within the app folder, I'm going to create a file. I'll create a file whose name will be this particular one. What's wrong? All right, paste it. Now this is the file where I'm going to just copy this whole thing. Let me copy it and paste it here. Fine. Once that is done, I don't think we need to do anything else for Android or any other thing. Correct? Great. Now just the functionality we need to work with in our storage one to actually prepare the storage file or functionality. Okay, for which I've already created the service. Now we just need to work with that. What I will do is we need functions for setting up the storage, for getting data from the storage, also to remove it. So for all these three functionalities, this is going to be the functions. Set storage, where I'm going to take the key and value, where preferences.set function will be called. If you don't know about it, you can just check it here. You will get to know pretty easily. Then we have get storage, where I'll just pass the key within the get function and we will be able to fetch the value. After that, removing, you can simply use the remove function and pass the key. If you want to clear up everything, you can use the clear function also. But I don't want to pass that. We just need to work with these three functionalities. That's it. Once this is done, I think our storage service is ready. Card service is almost ready, where we actually need to work with the storage service. So I'm just going to inject it. We are going to use it in some time. So private storage. I know I'm just making this application a bit bigger, but I just wanted to show you the real case scenario, what exactly can be done with the help of this particular application to scan barcode and like QR code. So just wait for the final result, you will like it for sure. So storage service, and we are going to import it. All right, this is ready now. Let's prepare our items. So it's time to check it in our Android and iOS devices. So what am I going to do? Everything is synced up. Still, once again, I'm going to sync it. After syncing, I'm going to try scanning some products, whether it works or not, whether it gives us anything or not. Have we console log anything? I don't think I'm going to get anything. If I do that up, I think I need to add something in the card. Then only we will be able to see, okay, fine, it is working or not. Just for scanning purpose, I don't want to use it. For doing that, I need to get a use of these functionalities. We need to add the quantity, update the quantity. Actually, we need to prepare the cart item. Now let's prepare our cart service first. Then we are going to actually work with the Android and iOS devices. So what am I going to do? I'm going to prepare some properties here. Let me call it, one is model of type any, where we are going to keep the cart data. Then cart storage name. This is just for the storage one. We need to pass a key, right? This is going to be the key where you can change in one place and rest you can work with it. Now this is the products data that we will get from our data one that we have kept it here, right? This whole data I'm going to get it here because we need to filter from that, right? Whenever we get a code, barcode one, we are going to just match it with the actual data and get the final result. All right, so this is done. What else we need to do here? Let's check it out. So this is ready, this is ready. Now I'm going to work with this particular functionality, add item by barcode. Now in this particular function, at first I'm going to find the record within the products data. That means the items data. So constant item I have created, which will be equals to this dot products. That's gonna be this particular products array that we are getting. Okay, there I'm going to find the item where the barcode is matching with this particular barcode that we are sending it from the home page scanning one. Okay, wherever we are using this functionality. So once we get some data here, then I'm going to do what? I'm going to add the quantity. So this add quantity function I'm going to call, where I'm going to fetch this particular item so that we can prepare the cart. If this data is not available, then what am I going to do? Well, in that case, I'm just going to check the condition and throw an error, no such item found. So that's what you can do. And this particular functionality, I'm just going to create it here, add quantity, where I'm going to get the item of type any. Okay, that's how I'm going to work. Now this condition will be pretty interesting. Here I will just log the item that we are going to get, and then if I'm going to check if there is some existing data into the cart which will be present in the model. So if model is available, and how it will be done, I'm going to explain later on. If data is present, then we know that there is something already available in the cart. So we need to track down the index of that particular model item where this item that we are going to add is available. I'm just saying that I'm going to match the ID with the existing items into the cart one. If the cart one, let's say it has 2 items and we have called for another item, if that particular item matches with any ID of the model items, then we will know that we need to update the quantity. Otherwise we need to add the third item, right? That's how we can track it down with the help of this particular index. If this index value is, if index value is greater than equals to 0, that means we have some data, otherwise we don't have any data. So if we have the value of index to be greater than equals to 0, that means we have some data. I'm going to update the quantity by 1 of that particular item where this index is matching. Okay, otherwise in the else condition, what am I going to do? I'm going to prepare an array. So this will be my constant items array, where I'm going to have just one object, because it means that there is no such item available. So I've just created this particular object array where I'm just passing, I'm changing the item. Actually, I'm having all the item data, whatever we need, like the name, description, price. I'm not having the reading one, the cover one, the quantity also I've added, but the ID I have changed it to item ID, because if you store it in the database some way or the other, if you use it, then it's not going to be the same name, right? ID. That is why I've changed it to item ID, and that's how we are going to track everywhere. Okay, hope you have understood. Now after initializing it, I will concatenate this particular array with the existing array. Okay, that means this dot model dot items will be equals to items dot concatenate. This will be at the top. That's what it's being done. This item will come at the top, and then I'm going to concatenate the other items. If you want the vice versa, then this dot model dot items should be written at first, and these items will come here. That's how you can perform. I think that would be better. In fact, if you want to work with that, let's do it. So this dot model dot items, okay, dot concatenate the items. Let's do it in this way, not an issue. Now what all condition we have: if this model is available, then only we are going to do it. Otherwise, if this model is not available, that means we don't have any data in the cart. So in that scenario, what exactly we are going to do? We are again going to prepare our data. So this will be the data. This time it's going to be an object, which I'm going to pass it within the model object, where I'll have an items array in this particular way. Okay, so items will be an array where I'm passing this particular object. All right, that's how it's being prepared now. So this is done. Now this is not it. We need to do certain other things too, like calculations will be done based on the based on the items that we have here. We need to perform the calculation also to have the total number of quantity, total price, and everything. For doing that, I'll have a different functionality here, which will be calculate function. So return this dot calculate function. I'm going to return some value there and create this calculate function. Okay, spelling is wrong. Calculate. Fine. Now it's fine. But before working with the calculate function, we can do something for subtracting the quantity also, because it's going to be similar like add quantity only, but with little difference. Let's work on that also, and then we are going to jump to the calculate function. So let me quickly show you the functionality here. Subtract quantity, item of type any. If model is available, that means if there is some data, then only we are going to process it up. Otherwise it's null, because whom are we going to subtract if we don't have any data? If you have data, I'm going to find that in particular index. If that index is available, then we are going to go ahead and update the quantity. If quantity is greater than 0, then only we are going to subtract it by 1. Otherwise we are not going to do anything. Okay, so all the conditions are checked here, and we can finally jump into the calculate function for both the stuff. Now within this calculate function, at first I'm going to filter those items whose quantity is greater than 0. By mistake, if you have a quantity which is equals to 0, it's going to be removed at first within this particular function. After that, what we are going to do, we will check if this length of this items is greater than 0 or not. Yes, if it is equals to 0, that means we don't have anything in the cart whose quantity is greater than 0. Then we are simply going to clear the cart. If it is not clear, that means, and finally return. So we need to create a function called clear cart also. Clear cart. Okay, this is created. Fine, error is gone. Now if we pass through this particular condition, then what we need to do, we need to perform some calculation here, for which I'll create two variables. One is total item and total price, initialized to 0 value, and then run a for of loop. So in this particular loop, I'm just calling my items, looping it up and adding quantities in total item from the quantity, and total price will be price into quantity will get me the price. That's how I'm going to prepare my total price. Finally, I'm going to create a constant called grand total and pass the total price there. Even you can rename it as total grand total also, but if you have some other things, that is why I've kept a different variable for that. Not even variable, it's a constant. Now finally, few more things are left and we are done with this particular functionality, which is actually to create a model data once again, where we have the existing model, if any, then this items will be replaced with actual items that we get here by filtering it up. Once we have that, we will pass the total item, total price and grand total. The names will be same. That is why I'm not changing it. And we are going to pass this value in the cart observable, and finally store this particular data in our storage function. So we are going to just prepare this safeguard function also. Okay, it's going to take data of type any, fine. Within which what I will do is I will prepare at first the model, any constant I have taken, where I'm going to stringify this data, because without stringifying we cannot like store it. So I'm going to call the storage service here dot test storage function, where the name key will be given and the model will be the data in a stringify format that we are going to save. This is ready now. For cleared card functionality, what am I going to do? I'm going to call my storage service here and call the remove storage functionality, where I'm just going to pass the key. Model will be set to null once again, and in fact the card data which is in the observable, I'll set it to null because we don't have anything in the card. That is what it's going to do. So this value is going to be spread everywhere wherever we are subscribing. That is the benefit of using this particular observable. Hope you're getting it. Last but not the least is get card data. So I told you how I'll be getting the card data here when we were checking if model exists or not. So this initializing of the model data can be done from this get card also. We can do it with adding the quantity, but from here also we can do that if you already have some data into the cart, as we are already storing it, right? And how this will be done, let me just show you quickly. So I'm just going to use async await here, and why needed, I'll first get the value from the observable. This is how we get the value from the card $1. If there is no data available, then we are going to hit this get storage function, which is into the storage service, and with the help of the key name that we have here, we will get the data. Once we get the data, we know that there is not a direct data. We have a property called value, which is an object. So within the data is an object. Within that, we always have a property called value, which holds the value, actual value. So if it is available, then only we are going to process ahead and parse the data. Because it was in the stringify format, we need the actual data. That is why we need to parse it. Once we parse it, we will get the actual data, and then we are going to pass it in the next function of the observable, so that it can be passed everywhere wherever we are subscribing. Okay, now this function I'm going to call within the constructor here. So whenever this particular, for the first time when it is called, whether it is in home page, card page, wherever we are calling it, for the first time whenever it is called, the get card function will be called. Okay, only for the first time. You can just log the value also if you want to see whether it is called many times or not, but it will be called only once. So that is why you can pass it in the constructor here. Okay, once this is done, I think our functionality is quite ready. We are good to work with it. It's time to test it. And for testing it up, I'm going to sync the project once again, Ionic Cap sync. Once the syncing is done, I'm going to try it in my real device. Let me connect that. Alright, the syncing is done, and I have also connected my Android device. It's time to check it. So Ionic Cap, open Android, that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to open up the Android Studio for me. So we will check it there by running the application into our real device. So our device is detected. Now I'm simply going to hit the run button, and let's see whether it is installed or not. So now it is quickly installed into my system. So now the application is opened up into my device, and I'm simply going to perform some operations, like I'm going to scan it up. So in order to scan that up, I will open the products here and will open this scanning part here. All right, while using the application, I'm going to allow the permission, and just check this out. It is scanned, and as soon as it is scanned, I'm getting some value in the cart. Now let me just try it again. I'll just click on the scan one and check it once again. Now this time cart value is changed. So same item, I have scanned it twice. And now let me go for another item, and I'm going to scan that particular item here. And this is also done. So 3 items we have in the cart. Now to check the cart, we do not have any design there, right? So this functionality is ready. We just need to work with the cart part now. So let's quickly do that up. What am I going to do is I will go inside the cart, but for that I need to check what's the value coming up here, right? And in order to do that, simply In the card service itself, when we are getting the card, I will add a quantity here. So add quantity, I'm going to pass products, sorry, this dot products, this dot, what is it, items or products? Products. And the 0th value that we have here means the first item that we get into the products array. I'm going to add that up and it is added here. So if I go inside that, we will be able to see this, right? We can work with that. Alright, if you want to see the value here, definitely you can check it out. Let me just call it within the get card function. What do we have? Do we have anything logged up? Not yet. Let me log it here. Console.log value of model. Okay, you're going to see that up here. Later on, we are going to subscribe to that too. Why is it not showing up? Because we are not calling this particular service there. That is why. Anyways, not a problem. Let me go to the card page first. In the card page, I need to design it a bit. Let's remove the unnecessary things that we have here. Let's remove this too. Fine. Now, the things that I will be needing here as properties will be this particular ones. So the model for the card data subscription will be needed like we did in the home page. Then the currency, if you need, you can work with that. Is QR pay and is toast. This is for the toast message that we're going to display. This is for the QR code that can be shown. Okay. And finally, we will have not exactly this one. We will have something called toast data, which will be initialized to an empty object and it's of type any here. Okay. That's what we are going to have. Not only that, we will also inject our card service here. So this will be ready in very soon. And I also need on destroy. In fact, in the homepage also we need to work with that. Let's do it there also, because when we are subscribing to something, definitely we need to destroy it or unsubscribe it too when that is not in use. That is why I'm going to go here, implements on init and on destroy. By default, I think directly also you can use it, but still I will just have this interfaces to be applicable within this particular class. And I'm going to use the function ng on destroy. If card sub is available, then I'm going to simply unsubscribe the value that it has. That's the thing you need to do. Once this is done, I will copy it up and go to the card page. We'll do the same there also after this particular one. Fine. And nothing else I think we need to do. In the home page, we have subscribed to it where it is in the ng on init. We'll do the same in my card page also in the ng on init one in this particular way. But this time it's not going to be the total item. It's going to be different. This dot model will be equals to cart. That's what it's going to be. Now within this particular card page, we are going to have some functionality for scanning once again, scanning the barcode. You can just name it as you want. After scanning it up, we are going to add the item by barcode, and also you can add the quantity. You have to send the item along with the item ID because we have changed the item underscore ID there. And that is why we won't be getting this ID here. That is why I'm appending it up with this particular object. Okay. Hope you're understanding it. Again, same for the subtracting also. So this data is ready. We can simply work with that into our designing part. Let's work with the designing part first. Then we will prepare the data as per our requirement. Now let me do the needful here. Let's remove everything which is not needed. Well, header will be actually pretty simple. We will have a back button. Along with that, we will have a scanner at the right side. So this is how it's going to be. Let me just show you properly. So we will have the back button in this particular way. Default href will be /home, and we will have a scan outline on the right side one in this particular way, with the help of which we can click and add some more data directly from the card itself. So this is ready now in the iron content. These things I'm going to show you pretty quickly because we have already seen lots of designing. Now here I'll give a condition: if model is available, then only we are going to show the design. Otherwise, we are going to do something else. So in the else condition, let me just pass the data at first in the else condition so that we can see something here. I'm going to pass a div where there will be a class called empty screen, and I'm going to have an iron icon, card outline, and we'll pass the color to be primary. No item added yet. So if we don't have anything in the cart, that's what we are going to show. Since we have something in the cart, that is why it's not coming up. If I do one thing, let me just comment this particular line and we will be able to see something here. Just check this out. The design is not great, right? Let's fix that. Now in the SCSS, what I need to do is I will work with the empty screen, the class that we have given to that particular div, and where I'm just passing some margin top and icon size I have changed. It's looking nice now. Great. Let's move ahead. If we have some data, then we need to loop it up. For that, let me uncomment it again and work with it. So I'm going to use a for loop here in this particular way at 4, within which let me use an iron card here. So iron card color, I've given it its light color and iron padding vertical so that we have some padding at the top and bottom. Within this, I will have an iron item where lines will be none. Okay. Now within the iron item, we will do whatever we have done so far, an iron thumbnail with an image. So iron img tag I'm using, you can use img tag also if you want to. Now after this, I'm going to work with the iron label here where I will have the name of the item along with the pricing too. So for the pricing, I'm passing it in a p tag along with that within an iron text, and the text I've kept it as bold. That is why strong tag is being used, where I'm just passing the currency with a space, then the price. Okay. So this is how it's being prepared. Finally, we need one more thing here. But before that, let me get rid of the error which is coming up of the iron thumbnail. This thumbnail is giving me a lot of hard time, but anyways, not a problem. We know how to solve the problem, right? So iron thumbnail, let me just paste it here and the error will go away. We will be able to see some design, right? That's what we are looking at. All right, now forget about the designing part, just the data, focus on that. In the HTML, after passing the label, we need to do something else, right? I need to work with an iron row because we need to pass the quantity adding and subtraction of that along with showing the quantity, for which iron row slot end will be used, within which I will have 3 columns. The first one will be for a button, the minus button. All right, this will be it, minus button, which is remove one. So let me just pass 2 icons here within the app component.ts file, which is the remove and add. All right, so these 2 are added. Now we can see the minus button here. Similarly, what am I going to do is I will have one more button here. Let me just paste it. So I have 2 buttons where fill is clear, color is primary, and on click, one is add quantity, other one is subtract quantity. So these 2 are being passed. Along with it, we have the icons. That's it. So once that is being done, we need something between those 2. What is that? The quantity actually. Now for the quantity, I need this stuff where I'll have a column. I've just passed the class to be quantity so that we can work with that in the SCSS. Then we just need an iron text. This is how it's going to look like. I'm just passing the quantity here, which is present for each and every item. So this is what we will be getting. Now I simply need to design it up, for which I'll go to the SCSS one and quickly do that up. So after the empty screen, I'm going to have an iron card work, means designing. For the designing part, box shadow I've set it to none so that we don't need the box shadow part. Then margin top and bottom, well, I have changed it to 1 rem so that we can have some spacing. Outside of that also padding is required, but yes, margin is also required. Then border radius 10 pixel I have given. For the iron item, if we don't give the background to be transparent, it's not going to show the light color one. Just check this out. I want the light color, that is why I've made it a transparent one. Then for the thumbnail, well, simply the same drill. I've changed the height and width. Along with that, the margin also, only on the right side I've kept the margin, rest 0. Then for the img tag, again the same, img tag, sorry. Border radius has been given and height and width is 100%. Now this is how it shows. For the label, change the font size and everything. For the price one, kept a little bigger than the label one so that it is more visible. And finally, for the iron row, align cell to end. That is why it is aligned at the bottom part. If you don't keep it in this particular way, it's going to show it at the top. which I don't want. I want a different design for it. Background of the iron row, I've set it as white color. Then a border radius of 10 pixels has been given. That is why it's looking nice. And everything is centered up using this display flex and align items to center, justify content to center. After that is done, I have removed any padding that was available for the iron column because it was taking a lot of spaces. Then given a margin of 3 pixels towards the left and right side. And finally, the font size I have changed it to 0.85 rem within the iron column. Once that is done, I think everything is ready to go with. We just need to add the total amount and everything here. Then we are done. So for doing that, after this particular one, what we are going to do, or in fact not after this, within this actually, after the iron card, or actually the iron loop one. So it is not aligned properly or what? Okay, it has moved at the top. I don't want that. Let me align it properly. Now it's okay. This one also I'll align it properly. All right, now it looks better, isn't it? Great. So after this for loop, I'm going to have the billing details, which is pretty simple actually, just a single iron list. Even if you don't want the iron list, you can remove it. But I'm going to have the iron item here where I'll have a label of total at the left side. And on the right side, I'm just going to have the grand total. And if you don't want this, you can simply remove it. But I want to show the decimal number also. That is why I'm going to use here decimal pipe. Now the error will go away and we will be able to see the final result. Great, right? So this is simple stuff that I have done. Just by looking at it, I am sure you will understand. All right, the final thing is that I need a button here, right? To go ahead for the checkout one. And for doing that, I'll again have a condition here. If model is available, then only I want to show this particular div in which I will have a button which is mode of iOS, color of primary, expand to block, and on click of it, I will open the QR pay, and that's it. This is what we are going to have. Just the designing part. Let's fix a bit more, which can be done by working with the iron list here. So I've just made it a bit bigger, the font size and some margin bottom. Now it's looking fine. We have some margin here and this is looking a little bigger, which is great. So I think this is fine. If I add some item, it's being added. Great, it's working. All right, so far so good. Designing is done. We need to work with a model also for this particular checkout one, where we will be able to see the QR code, which is actually our final step. So I'm going to have a model here. That's going to be my model, where this is my identifier and is open, did dismiss. You have already seen all these things, so I'm not going to explain again and again. Now I'm going to have the ng template here, within which let me pass iron header like the earlier model which we used. So iron header, where we have this particular stuff. If I click on it, just check this out. This is showing up, where we have pay the amount and a cross button, which is coming up nicely. If you click on it, it's going to get closed, which is working for us. After this iron header, also I have just removed the border also. I'm going to work with the iron content here this time, where I'm going to have a div in which I'm going to pass some margin and align everything to center, within which let me pass an iron label. Okay, scan QR code, after which I'm going to have the actual QR code. So for the QR code, we are going to do something, but after this div, I'm going to have a button. Well, if you want to just scan it from there only, I'm just giving you a button to scan the stuff, which is not actually required because the customer is going to scan this QR code. So this button is not required, but still I'm just giving it there. Okay. Now let's fix this problem, the error that we are facing here. So I need to just create a function here, async pay, in which I'm going to pass the model, iron model. Okay, and then within this, we'll have everything within the try catch block that we have into our home page when we are scanning and paying it up. Now within this, we need to change something. What is that? All right, this toast message, I think I have made a mistake in my home page. Hopefully not exactly what was there in the home page. Let's check it out, what exactly we did. This is the code. Let me copy it and paste it there. Copy, and I'm going to paste it here. All right, and make the necessary changes now. So if we have some code here, then we are going to move ahead. Otherwise, we are going to throw an error in the toast message. If we have the data, then payment successful. Once the payment is successful, what we are going to do, we are going to dismiss our model and clear the card. That's what we are going to do here. Let me just show you how it looks like. This is how it's looking like for the time being, because we haven't worked with the QR code yet. For working with the QR code, there is a plugin, but in order to install that, since it is not upgraded to the latest version of Angular, as of now we have Angular version 18 here, but that will work with Angular version 17. That is why what we need to do is I need to install a plugin which will not be installed directly. We have to force it to install. So you have to be very careful whenever you are working with this particular plugin. If it is not updated at your point whenever you're watching this video, make sure you have Android, iOS platform and everything added. Otherwise, you have to remove this plugin and add all those to have a proper and smooth ride with the code. Now the plugin name is npm Angular X QR code. That's the plugin name. If I try to install it, let's check it out. I don't think it's going to get installed. It's going to give me an error, dependency errors. That is why if you don't get this, simply go ahead. Otherwise, you need to use -- force here to install it by any means. If I do that up, it's going to get installed and I will be able to use it now. For which what I'll do, I will just go to the bottom part. Not exactly. I need to actually import something, which is QR module. This is the one. So this QR module, I need to import it from this particular plugin. Okay, once it is imported, and here also you can see it is added, right? Once that is done, what I need to do is I need to go to the HTML part now. In the HTML, what I have to do within the model here, after the label, I have to pass here the QR code stuff, which is QR code only. This particular tag I need to use, which is coming from that particular plugin itself. Now here, you just need to pass the data in a stringify format. Remember that. So I'm just passing the grand total in a stringify format. Otherwise, it's not going to take that. Then width, and you can simply change if you want to, but I'll just keep this one only. And error level correction. There are a few more properties. You can simply check the documentation if you want to, but I don't want to go in depth of it. So let me just click here and I'm getting the QR code. That's how it's working. We are mainly working with the scanning part, right? That is why I'm not focusing more on that part. So this is done. It's time to try this up. Let me sync the project, Ionic Cap sync. So the syncing is done. Let me open it up. Ionic Cap open Android. Okay, let's work there first. Let me hit the run button and we will have the latest version installed into our system. Let me just show you how it looks like. So this is the design that you can see it on the screen. Now I'll go to the card one directly from here. Now you can see we have the 3 items that we added earlier, whose total is this particular much. Now after this is done, if I want to scan more items, let me just do it. Even I can remove also if I want to. Let me remove surprise gift basket. Even mug also, if I remove it, I have the empty one. I can simply add it from here. Let me just cut this and go back to the products one. I will add chocolate this time. So let me just hit this button for scanning it up. I will have the chocolate part and it's added here. Then I'm going to have again the surprise gift. So okay, not this one. I just need to scan it. All right, it's done. So we have 2 items. Let me add one more item, or in fact the same item also twice. So chocolate box, I need one more. I'm hungry for chocolates. So let's add one more here. It's added. So quantity is updated now. Final thing I want is, what should we add? Perfume. That would be great. So let's add a perfume here and we are going to add this particular with the scanning one. So this is added and we have the perfect total here. Now what I need to do is I need to go to the scanning part and work with it. Now let's say this is the total item that we have here and the total amount. Now this checkout point, the QR code will be shown to the customer from the shopkeeper, right? Now the the customer needs to scan it and pay the amount, for which let's assume that this is our scan. This is the customer one who is opening the scanner one, and it's going to scan the amount here that we are going to go with the help of proceed to pay, and this is the QR code. It is saying payment successful. That means the scanning is done properly. Okay, so this is how we can work with the scanning one. In fact, if you want to, you can simply work here with this particular payout, proceed to payout also. If I go to proceed to checkout and scan and pay, let's say I am just scanning the same stuff only, so I'll scan it. Once this scanning is done, the card is emptied. Even you can do that also, but this functionality is not actually great according to our requirement, because we are showing this QR code to the customer here, right? So I hope you are getting it, how exactly we are trying to implement this particular application, which is pretty good to work with. In fact, I'm going to apply the same in the iOS one also. Let's work on that too. We have already seen the project. It's time to open it up. Ionic Cap open iOS. So it's going to open the application in our iPhone, and there also we are going to see that we see the same design, and the Xcode has opened up. Once it gets ready, we are going to connect our iPhone and start working with that. Now I'll simply run it up. Now why this build has failed, let me just show you, because I need to go to the app and signing and capabilities. We have not passed anything. When we are working with the real device, we need to pass it up. So let me select a team here, and I'll just name the same barcode scanner. That's pretty fine. Now let's try to run it again. So I'll just hit the run button and check it this time whether it works or not. So the build successful, and we will be able to see that in a minute. All right, the app has opened up. This is how it looks in the iPhone. Now I'm going to simply go for scanning the products once again. Let me just close it, go to the product sections, and let me again add the chocolate box. So I'm going to add it twice, allow, added, and I get the vibration sound also. Once again, I'm going to add another chocolate box. Once 2 times I have added, then I'm going to go for the surprise basket. Same card only, I'm going to prepare it here also. And finally the perfume one, let's scan this one also. I have scanned all the items, it's working. Okay, so if I just remove anything, let me just remove the chocolate, luxury chocolate. If I add it again from here, let's see how it goes. So I'm just added it again, and it's working from here too. So you have seen how this is working. Now if I go to proceed to checkout, I get this QR code scanner. I'm going to scan it from the browser itself because we have the same card. So this is the one that the shopkeeper is going to show to the customer. Now let me become a customer and pay this up. So the QR code is showing up in my browser. If I go from here, I can do that up, but if I don't want to go from here, I can go to scan QR code and scan this up. Payment successful. Okay, the second option is to go from here, and again, if you want to clear the cart, you can go it from here also. So this functionality, like I said, it's just for temporary purpose, but definitely this one, the scan QR code and pay is actually the one that you can use for paying as a customer. So that's it. We have come to the end of this video, and we have executed lots of things. So with this, I'm going to wrap up this video for the day. Thank you so much for watching. Do share with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe it. Do check out the courses if you want to learn more. Do check out the templates if you want some quick templates to integrate in your application, and there is a food delivery application complete platform also available. Links are there in the description. Check that out and let me know if you need anything more. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'm going to see you in the next one.